Hey, what's up? 5 minutes. I want to talk about something, and I'm going to start off by mentioning the iPhone. And when the iPhone first came out, I'm talking about the first generation iPhone. I'm talking people were going crazy for that shit. People were just like, oh my goodness, I've got to have an iPhone. And I bring it up because it was original. You know, at the time you had your little candy bar style phones, your flip phones, maybe your Blackberries, but this phone kind of set itself apart from everything else, and then everybody wanted it. You know, now going on to the I believe the 6th generation iPhone coming out later, it's still the original phone. Everybody, it's the I gotta have it phone because it was the original phone. It was the phone that kind of started off on all the touchscreen phones. Now, I mentioned the iPhone simply because I realized that and I used to be guilty of this too, that people sometimes want to pattern themselves after somebody else. They want to be a robot to somebody else, and that most of the society today, they want to be like somebody because of something they did or done or whatever the case may be. But the thing is that you can't do what's already done, which is why Apple never produced anything other than the iPhone, because you know, it's the only one. Same reason why there isn't going to be another Michael Jordan. You know, everybody else that's going to come after him has to be original in their own right. You know, same thing when everybody when someone says they want to be like, you know, Dorian Yates, you know, Ronnie Coleman, Branch Warren, Phil Heath, Kai Green, Jay Cutler. I mean, it's a little hard. It's always going to be a tough act to follow because you're trying to be something that's already been done. So everybody's already seen that, okay? And to you, you're putting yourself in a shadow of something or someone that you feel like, okay, I'm not worthy enough of being original, so I'm gonna be like him. And again, that's what society pretty much is in its own right. And what I always try to do, and this is why I've been mostly an outcast, is because I've always done things different. I walk different, talk different, act different. I don't speak with slang every 5 seconds. I pretty much talk proper 90% of the time. There is a 10% of the time where I may go ebonics on you if I get pissed off enough. That's funny. But part of arrogant strong is doing things your way because you can. Okay, there's no rhyme reason to it at all. It's doing things your way because you can. That's how a lot of that's what the mentality of a lot of lifters back in the 70s and 80s were. Their mentality was their way. I mean, that's why there's been no structure to how those guys trained. You know, it was crazy. It was insane. It was like, okay, no one does this stuff. But in their own right, a lot of these guys just did things because they could. You know, there wasn't really a whole lot there was no reason or logic to it, and doesn't have to sometimes. Sometimes when you're being original, it starts off with not being logical or without reason. And same thing is that, you know, you have to, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, looking up to these guys and idolizing them, as long as you learn from them and not be in their shadow, not be afraid to step out and do your own thing. You know, forge your own freak is what I tell a lot of people. Don't try to be something that's already been done. Learn from them, but in your own way. That's what they taught us in school whenever they had the essay test instead of the multiple choice test, because they wanted to see if you actually interpreted what they taught in your own words. Okay, so you know, that's why a lot of your teachers that actually do care about education will pull out an essay test on you, because they actually want to see what you've learned and being able to apply it in your own words, in your own way. Again, your own way. So like I said, you cannot be afraid to step out and be that one person that does things differently than everybody else. Because guess what? As history has been shown, every time a person has always stepped out and been something different than everybody else, they stood out and they rose up to the top a lot faster. Reason why? Because they're not patterning themselves after some sort of stereotype or somebody. So, lesson today, it basically boils down to the definition of arrogant strong. Doing things your way because you can. Okay? If you don't have a sack, then don't do it. Out.